Okay, so the 10 tag teams for New Japan's Super Junior Tag League Tournament 2023 have been announced. Now, keep in mind, while the Megamet podcast will be going over the tournament itself next Thursday, a week from tonight on the 19th, I'm just going to go over the teams alone in this video. The teams involved are now 6 of them I did expect to be in this tournament, but four of them are combinations I was thrown a loop for or a little bugged by. Let's start with the teams I was expecting to be in this. IWGP Junior Tag Champions, the Bullet Club War Dogs, Clark Connors, and Drill Maloney. By the time they get through Royal Quest and the Copper Box on Saturday, they'll have defended the belts 3 times. Once against Roppongi 2K, Rocky Romero, and Yo at the New Japan Strong Independence Day show on July 5th in Corrigan Hall. This past Monday against the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kushida and Kevin Knight. And they have a defense coming up against, who was it again? Oh, yeah, Leon Slater and Cameron Kai. Of Rev Pro. I really wasn't expecting. Now, do I expect this duo to do well? Yes. But do I expect them to win the tournament? No, I don't. Next up, House of Torture, Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. It makes sense when you look at it on paper for this duo to team up. As last year, Sho was stuck with Dick Togo as his tag partner, and it didn't pan out to a lot of success. Do I expect a lot of shortcuts taken? Yes. Do I expect them to win the tournament? No, I don't. Personally, I'd rather see both of these guys dead if given the opportunity. Los Ingobernables de Opponents, Teton, and Bushi. This was a good team that surprised a lot of people last year for the brief amount of time they do get to tag up, given that it's impossible for Teton to be in New Japan full time due to his CMLL commitments. As such, he only pops up on tournament meet for tournaments, like the Best of the Super Juniors and the Super Junior Tag League. But at least when it's been a little more frequent when you consider their last year, when he joined Los Ingobernables de Japón. I see them being in it until the final day, but I don't expect LIJ to win this one. Next up in their debut entry, the duo of El Desperado and Master Wato. This was a team I didn't think would be thrown together, mostly because they had been going at each other's throats for the better part of a month in the best of 7 between Strong Style, which is Desperado, Minoru Suzuki, and Ren Narita, and the trio of Yuji Nagata, Master Wato, and Shota Umino, who ended on an inconclusive note with the score being 3 wins, 3 losses, and a draw for both sides. I could see them doing well. Wato won this year's Best of the Super Juniors, but was unable to successfully capitalize on it. Maybe he and Despy can win the Super Junior Tag League and capitalize on that. But given that I think Desperado borderlines too much between being a junior and a heavyweight, that's a little up in the air. So I don't know if it can pan out. Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida. This was a duo that was disappointing in last year's Super Junior Tag League, and both had a pretty disappointing outing in the Best of Super Juniors. Arguably, it's been Kushida eating a lot of the pins for this duo, and sooner or later, Kevin Knight's going to get fed up with it. I don't expect this team to do all that much. Maybe get 3 wins in this. I don't know. But I don't expect them to win the tournament. Simple as that. For just five guys, Doki and Taka Michinoku. I would have had more confidence in this in Doki being doing well in this year's tag league if it was Uemura teaming, but I guess the booking powers that be in Shin Nippon Puroresu decide to pair Doki Uemura with Taichi for the World Tag League. Taka may be a legend, but look at his performance in the World Tag League in 2021. Yes, I know that due to COVID restrictions that year, New Japan's hand was forced to put in a couple of juniors to team with Nagata and Suzuki, that being Tiger Mask and Michinoku, respectively. And Taka and Suzuki ended up getting swept, going 0-11. Whereas Tiger and Nagata only won one match, going 1-10. Taka being in his weight class now, I'm not sure if Taka and Doki could go too far. I mean, maybe 3 or 4 wins for this team, but no chance at the finals. Gucci and the DKC. Oh, God. Pairing Clark Connors with being paired with Taguchi was a devastating blow to Clark Connors' credibility. Last year, I don't see much happening in positive strides for the DKC with Taguchi this year. What are they going to call this team? Wild hip chops, kung fu ass? I don't know. But we know that Taguchi's in a lot of hot water for his butt jokes. How do you get in this year? How do you get in the hot water? And be forewarned when I say I am not making this up. Let's turn the clocks back to March, the All Star Junior Festival in Korakuen Hall. It was a 6-man tag match. Taguchi teaming with Hikaru Sato, aka the hentai wrestler of Pancrase Wrestling, and Yumihito Fantastic Imanari, who was predominantly of the former faction known as the Pheromones. Yes, the Pheromones in DDT recently disbanded a couple of weeks ago. Oh, in Shinjuku. They had their final match together, which ended in a no contest. Granted, when he's not in DDT, Imanari is predominantly the top babyface in the Gambare promotion, which is one of DDT's sister promotions alongside Tokyo Joshi and Pro Wrestling Noah. Anyway, their opposition was the Great Sasuke, Tiger's Mask of Osaka Pro, and Bantan Buddha Buddha of Kyushu Pro. Taguchi while Imanari came out in his entire wrestling gear, along with a sweater that had a cut in the back, the long cut that goes all the way up to the spine, Taguchi and Sato, on the other hand, came out barefoot and in their underwear, plus the sweaters. But at some point in the mid portion of the match, Taguchi convinced Imanari to do the one thing he didn't do as part of the Pheromones faction in DT whenever he popped up, i.e., stripped down to his thong. At the end of the match, Taguchi took his undies off and left them there on the Korakuen Hall floor. That got Taguchi in a lot of hot water by the time the Best of Super Juniors rolled around, and basically which led to him saying at the BOSJ press conference this year, he was not going to do any of the butt stuff of his own volition, i.e., his gimmick of basically dropping his pants and then teabagging his opponents to get wins by using the gross out factor. Now, true, the pants did drop at the end of that tournament, but that was not of Taguchi's volition. Kushida pulled him down by accident when he was trying to get out of a pinfall. Again, I wish I was making this up, but I'm not. Here's hoping Taguchi refrains from the butt stuff in the Super Junior Tag League. Otherwise, the experience is going to lead another LA Dojo grad to go in the Bullet Club, like it did with Clark Connors. Speaking of Connors, Taguchi and the DKC get him and Maloney on, let's see. Connors, November the 1st, near the end of the tournament. A perfect opportunity for Taguchi to get for DKC to get a little payback on Connors. That said, I do not expect them to win this tournament. Next team up from the Mighty Don't Kneel, Ichiban Sweet Boys, Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita. Fujita was the first of the current crop of young lions to get poached and put in a faction right out of the gate. At New Year Dash, Zack Sabre Jr. recruited him to the Mighty Don't Kneel. Why did he do it? Go back to the G1, last year's G1 climax. There's a match between Zack and Evil where Zack basically used Fujita as a decoy to throw Evil off. It ended with Evil getting knocked out of the tournament in 44 seconds. And then there was this little bit. Be forewarned, audio is owned solely by New Japan and not me. This little bit. With Zack being.
Hello, I'm Zack Sabre Jr. I am from England. I like Marmite. Evil. You are pumpkinhead wanker. You are pumpkinhead wanker. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
I always bust a gut with that one. Granted, once again, with the assistance of the Young Lions, Zack was able to beat Evil in the semifinals of the TV tournament title tournament last November, and eventually it led to Zack becoming the inaugural New Japan World Television Champion. In August, Kosei was sent on his world tour, but I kind of deduced that it would be a short excursion, given he was going to be brought back almost immediately for this tournament, teaming with Robbie Eagles. And sure enough, I guessed correctly. I don't like to toot my own horn with this sort of thing, okay, folks? Do I expect much out of this duo? I do expect some level of success, but do I expect them to win the tournament and get an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Title shot at Wrestle Kingdom? No. Next up is my pick to win. Former two-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions TJP and Francesco Akira Catch 2 of the United Empire. This is a team that brought a lot of prestige back to the tag belts in their with the second longest IWGP Junior Tag Title reign from June of 2022 to this past April. An over 10-month title run. They did lose the titles to the Jet Setters, although it was brief, and got them back. But that reign was also brief, compliments to the treachery of Drill Maloney and Clark Connors, basically running them rampant, roughshod through Corkin Hall on the 4th of July. This is a chance for them to get the titles back, and they are my pick to win Super Junior Tag League. But now let's get to the last team. Yo and a mystery partner. Now, with Lio Rush sick, Leo can't go to bat, nor can Roppongi 2K, that being Yo and Rocky Romero. Why not? Let's just say having Rocky as his partner has a slew of scheduling conflicts attached to it. Especially when you consider that Rocky's been bouncing around between MLW, New Japan Strong, and AEW here in the States. With a plate that full, do you think Rocky would have time to get back to Japan and wrestle in this tournament? No. So that means Yo is pulling from outside of Chaos to pick a tag partner to bring into the group. My choice on this is Ryohei Oiwa. I mean, yes, I know Chase Owens just told me on Twitch that it couldn't be Oiwa since he's in Noah. But Chase, think of it this way. To me, Oiwa being on excursion in Noah, he's being loaned out to Noah. He's in Noah on a short-term loan. It makes sense if Oiwa is the one that's called back up and basically brought into Chaos. It's the same thing that the Mighty O'Neil is doing with Fujita for this tournament. Send him on a short month and a half, 2-month long excursion, and let him compete in this tag league. Yo is basically doing the same thing, except that Oiwa was originally a young lion, but he's going to dangle the carrot and allow him to be a part of Chaos. It makes perfect sense when you think about it in hindsight, Chase. Now, I know on paper it would make a lot of sense to give Yo and Oiwa the trophies, but here's the problem. Yo has won the Super Junior Tag League 4 times, if you count the 2017 Best of Super Juniors Tag Tournament. 3 of those 4 times, he's failed to win or hold on, in the case of the Wrestle Kingdom 12 match, to the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles. 3 of those were with Show from 2018 and 17 to 2019. And they won that tournament. So here's my question. Would it make sense to give Yo and Oiwa the win on paper? Yeah. The tournament on paper? Yes. But when you look at plots and story execution, should they win it? No. I'm sticking to Catch 2 and the desire for revenge to be the catalyst as to who gets their hands on the War Dogs January the 4th at Wrestle Kingdom. Be sure to check in next Thursday night at 7 o'clock when Mega Man, NG, and I go over the matches and then make our picks, our prognostications for the Super Junior Tag League 2023 on the road to Power Struggle, which goes from next Saturday, October 21st in Saitama, and ends 2 weeks later, November the 4th, in Osaka. comment, like, subscribe. That's Joint Tweet signing out. Goodbye. Good fucking night. Bang.